It is the decision of this court in the case between Manchester United and Football Manager that the winner is Manchester United, but also football. It's kind of a little bit of a it's a little bit of both. We're just gonna call it a draw, maybe 45-55. Everybody okay with that? We'll just sit on that. We'll see how it feels. Feel good? Hopefully. In case you had no idea, Football Manager's been getting sued for the last year. Yay! Yay! It was a lawsuit that I actually made a video about when it initially came out, talking about what we could expect, what the lawsuit entailed. So if you want like an incredible amount of detail on that, you can click on that video. But essentially, Manchester United was suing Football Manager, not for using its name, but for using a kind of like a trademark part of its name, like it literally Man U, right, was in the game. The badge was different and everything, but yeah, the color was red and the name said Man U, and so they were saying that Football Manager was infringing upon their copyright. That was the lawsuit. Welcome to the newsroom, the Zealand newsroom, where we're going to break down some of the most important news that's happened to Football Manager in a long time. Now, some of you may know or remember that Manchester United was the club leading the charge about taking down or editing logo packs. This is just by going into the files of the game. Somebody personally creates a logo pack for their use and then gives it to other people for free. Some people get clout from doing this, certain numbers of downloads, and they get their name lifted up by it. At a certain point, Manchester United has apparently become aware of this trend and began to send cease and desist letters to a number of creators. They received these cease and desist letters, and that's why if you do go and download logo packs, you might find that Manchester United's logo is not in them, or that the logo pack landscape as a whole has really changed, because obviously these creators that just kind of do it for fun to begin with got a little scared by, a billion-dollar company as the club sending them a cease and desist letter. You don't really have the resources to fight that. Now, in case you hadn't guessed already, because I apparently have this vibe, my dad is actually a lawyer, so I went to him when I made the original video, and I went, well, how likely is this? What he told me is, since Manchester United is aware of Football Manager and uses Football Manager and understands that Football Manager has called them Man U for a while, then they have not defended their common law trademark, and they didn't have too much of a case. So I was never particularly worried that Football Manager was going to go under or end up having to pay out millions and millions of dollars or something for this type of copyright infringement that they so desperately attempt to avoid. There is also the concern that the vibrant modding community and the sort of things that I talk about, well, you get a real name fix in your game, right? You get a logo pack in your game, you get a face pack in your game, that all that sort of stuff would be locked out. That Football Manager would make it impossible for that to happen, thus making the game much less enjoyable for millions of people that go through the trouble to figure out how to do that in the first place. That was probably the more likely outcome, but we've actually gotten a completely different one, because Football Manager, in an effort to downplay it tremendously, has announced the results, and so has Manchester United, of this lawsuit that began over a year ago, back in May of 2020. And that's why we're here to tell you about it. I forgot my tie. So what Football Manager has said in their official statement is that Manchester United and SEGA agreed a settlement to resolve the trademark dispute relating to Football Manager. They are pleased to resolve this matter to their mutual satisfaction. So that you can't tell if that's just PR bull or if it's actually something that is to their mutual satisfaction. So then we have Kev here who goes on, what does this mean? And then of course then Football Manager actually tells you what happened. They will be called Manchester UFC or Man UFC. These name changes have been made to settle the dispute on a no admissions basis, which means that neither side is admitting fault. Football Manager just went to Manchester United. We would assume this is the way it worked, because I'm assuming Manchester United was going for more than this. They probably realized they weren't going to get it, and then Football Manager goes to them and says, if we make this change, can we drop the whole thing? And they go, okay. We had a nice healthy collection of people hating on the American owners, which, look, they own the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I hate them too. The Glazers suck. And the Bucks won the Super Bowl, and I'm still saying that. People hating on Manchester United, people hating on Arsenal. I'm pretty sure you can find that in every comment section. Just pretty standard, and that's all the information we got about the proceedings. This has got to be considered a gigantic win for Football Manager, considering how much worse it could have been. We just talked about the couple of things that could have happened. Like, you've got to rewrite the game so that you lock certain files, you make it much harder to get into certain files, because you're always going to be able to find the files somewhere on a computer. You have to make it much harder for them to get to, in which case I have to make much longer tutorials about face packs and real name fixes and all that fancy stuff. The other key thing here is that Football Manager, at least what is announced on the FM page, did not have to pay any money out to Manchester United, which is nice because they wouldn't know how to spend it anyways. I'm going to leave the news desk. We're going to loosen things up a little bit here. The FM account was not done, though. They came back later and they said Sega and Sports Interactive maintain that they do not need a license to use the Manchester United name, but have made the change as a gesture of goodwill so that both parties can move on. What this tells us that I think everything else doesn't is how much Football Manager and Sega value their relationships within the sport. I've talked about this before. Football Manager actually is used as a scouting resource by a bunch of different teams, Manchester United included. So the last thing that Football Manager wants to do is get into a protracted, ugly legal battle with one of the teams that helps provide it inside access and then works with... They work with each other. They work with each other all the time. It's like suing somebody in the same industry as you that you like need information from on a daily basis. The better access that Football Manager can get, the better it is. This also means that Football Manager was fairly convinced they were going to win the lawsuit. They just wanted to end it before it got there, and Manchester United knew that they were going to win. Righto! So we bring it back to the news desk to talk about how we move forward from this. Well, the takeaways are that Football Manager fortunately is not going anywhere, which means my mom can stop worrying about my job. Another important takeaway is that Football Manager is no longer hamstrung by a lawsuit that has to do with copyright stuff, which means I might actually be able to talk to them in public. That would just be cool, because the copyright stuff has definitely kind of kept Football Manager under the ground for a year, and there were a couple of concerns. Manchester United was sending cease and desists to the different websites that were hosting logo packs and stuff. It was getting a little messy, and now that all of that is done and behind us, there is no cloud hanging over the Football Manager making community, the Football Manager community, us, anymore. And we should just be able to enjoy the game the way that we hope to and interact with Football Manager the way that we and I hope to. This should open up more cool videos for us, you, me, everybody. Cool! I will see you on another video. That's it for your Zealand news update. Tried to spin. Oh, there's not a lot of room in here. We're moving soon. It's all right. We're fine.